which was one of the earliest coffee table books of wildlife photography in Sri Lanka. It was followed by large numbers of books, but now printed books are becoming more and more expensive. If any of you bought the most recent book that was published on wildlife as a coffee table book, I think it was Sankha Vanyachi's Ghosts of the Clouded Plains, beautiful coffee table book about the leopards of Horton Plains. I think 10,000 rupees, something like that. So it's a lot of money. But the art of photography was steadily improving. In 1990, when I published my Freshwater Fishes of Sri Lanka, for the first time I was able to publish color pictures of all the fish species in Sri Lanka. This had never been done before. But photography was so difficult then because color film could not be processed in Sri Lanka. Color transparencies, you had to take the pictures and send the Kodachrome film to Australia for processing. Sometimes the film would go through the customs X-ray machine and be destroyed. So it was really expensive to do the photography, so you had to get it right. So I used to catch the fish and put them in an aquarium by the riverside and then take their photograph behind glass. But now, with digital cameras becoming cheaper and better, people like my colleague Hiranya Sudasinghe are taking fantastic underwater pictures, even in freshwater, which just shows how good you can get in capturing animals in their natural state. This is even an underwater picture of Lanka nectis, a frog. So now underwater photography has become something standard. So there we lead to the digital age. But already by 1964, the Natural History Museum in London had started the Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition. And this, of course, raised wildlife photography to a new level altogether. You are all familiar with the kinds of images that came out of that process. Increasingly beautiful pictures, some of them funny, all of them fantastic. But what happened was, as a result of digital photography becoming ever more common and many more people participating in photographic art, there also arose a large number of people cheating the system. So this winner of 2009 in the photography competition in London had to be disqualified because it was discovered that he had trained a fox to perform tricks and pretended that it was a wild animal. Now we are entering into a new age, which I think we should not delay to exploit. I'm going to spend the next few minutes telling you why I think that. I'm going to show you a clip of a little puppet, a monkey, that had been dropped in the middle of a troop of langurs, Banduro, and the monkeys think that this is actually a dead baby monkey. And the video is of the reaction to this dead baby monkey, but it's not a real baby, it's a doll. And they all get very sad, and you can see them really curious and confused about what's happening. This is a scene that you could easily film anywhere in Sri Lanka. When you watch the reactions of the monkeys and the way they console each other after the dead baby, it's almost human. What is unusual about that very commonplace bit of photography is that 200 million people have watched that clip. 200 million people. And if you put a clip on YouTube and you have an account, YouTube pays you between $1 and $5 for every 1,000 views. So all you need in order to register for a YouTube account is 1,000 subscribers, not very difficult. The families of the people in this room are 1,000. And you need to get 50,000 views of a 5-minute clip. Believe me, that is not difficult either. I have given boring lectures on public policy, for example, which have been watched more than 100,000 times. This is not difficult to do. But that one clip of the monkeys you saw probably earned the photographer between 60 and 300 million rupees. That's how much YouTube pays you for that kind of viewings. And when you look at the pictures that come, for example, from BBC filming in Sri Lanka, of course using more technology like drones and slow motion. This was shot a couple of years ago in Yala by the BBC team. These get huge numbers of views, hundreds of millions of views worldwide. And as a result of that, the owners of these photographs earn fantastical amounts of money. It doesn't have to be with such expensive equipment. As you saw with the monkeys, you can even do that with a mobile phone. And here's one shot with a mobile phone, not in Sri Lanka, where a tourist is in the vehicle and you can see what's happening to him. Thankfully, he's a very brave man. He doesn't pull his foot away from the action. And that little clip of his, 10 million views on YouTube. So the thing is, I want to ask you to urge at least some of you in your photographic career now to think about video, because you can monetize at last. You can start earning the money that you need for your fieldwork, to buy your cameras, and so on. Even slow motion photography is becoming cheaper and cheaper all the time. And if you club together as groups, maybe this is something that even the Department of Wildlife can help you to do. You can take the most fantastical pictures and actually earn yourself a lot of money from YouTube. This is possible, and we see this all the time. For example, this recent video that I saw on YouTube, I was amazed by the fantastic quality of video photography that was presented. Samita Harishchandra is the name of the photographer. And I urge you to go to YouTube and watch this, because it's some fantastic pictures from Sri Lanka. Some of them seem commonplace and very artistic, others are really difficult and rare to get, but all of them are absolutely stunning. Just imagine what this would have looked like in slow motion, for example. So my message to you is to think about the next phase of wildlife photography. I hope in future years that the Wildlife Department will consider having also a video clip entry out of the 5 categories, to have one for video clips, because I'm sure that as we go forward, more and more people will have some fantastic clips to give. You don't have to look for really rare and difficult pictures. You just need to have ideas that you can test, as in the case of the monkeys and the little baby doll, or in a case like this. Wildlife images, as you have so beautifully demonstrated with the images that you have brought here today, can be got without a lot of trouble as well. And so I want to end by thanking the Department of Wildlife Conservation, Surya Bandara, for organizing this competition. I hope it will be held every year. I want to thank the sponsors for stepping up to fund this. I know it's expensive, but thank you for doing that for us. I think you've made a big difference, because the story of wildlife can only be told in future through the lenses of people like yourselves who take all this interest. Finally, I'm very sorry I got confused at the beginning of my talk. I haven't slept for 48 hours or more because I've been traveling, so I apologize if I haven't been altogether coherent all the time. Thank you very much.